Well, welcome to week 2. I hope you found week 1 interesting, and please, if you need any help or you have any questions, just reach out. Remember, we're here to help. So I'm going to go through the questions that'll be your focus for week 2. And remember, at the end of each week, what we want you to do is actually spend 15 minutes with a colleague or a family member and actually explain to them what you've learnt in the previous week. This is actually a great way for you to kind of cement your knowledge, get some feedback, and also start practicing being an analytics professional who will have to engage with many different types of stakeholders. So our first question for focus this week is really, what value can analytics bring to operational business processes? So you'll remember from last week that I talked about 3 different types of business organisational decision making: operational, tactical and strategical. So this week we're going to really focus on kind of operational. So the value here is that you can see the whole process, not just part of it. So if you imagine you've been involved in some process like moving house or enrolling in university or something else, and at times those processes don't go as smoothly as we would like, and so analytics can be used by organisations to get some visualisation to explain, well, where are things falling down? Where are things going really well? How can we improve them? So as you can see, there's still a focus on efficiency, but enhanced by the use of analytics. In your reading, there's some great examples of visuals related to this. You then start to be able to focus on outcomes for the business process. So this is not just about possibly a process that runs within one area, but a process that runs across lots of areas in an organisation, or even possibly areas across multiple organisations. And so if you've got the ability to be able to see the effectiveness of that process visually and share that with all the people involved in running that process, you start to almost get a bit of a customer view, or a student view, or a patient view. And you can see that why the importance of customer experience becomes crucial. And so we start to have a focus then on the outcomes. And this means we're in a better position to be able to visualise maybe where processes could be changed, where certain things could be done by different areas in an organisation, or certain steps are just put in to fix things that aren't working earlier up the stream. Finally, you can make use of analytics to connect up multiple business processes, because ultimately everything's connected. If you think about you going into a hospital or you're going to a university, it's not just one part of, it's just one process. While you're in a hospital or a university, different things happen to you, and then you leave. Here's an example, for instance. This might be you coming to be a UniSA online student. You go through a process. I think I will go to university. I look at what are my best options. I find the course that matches, and at the end of that, I enrol and start studying. You may consider, well, how successful was this particular process for you as a student? How successful was it for the university? How successful is it for you, your current or a future employer? And how successful is it for your family? So this starts you thinking about that any particular process, not just operational ones, but tactical and strategic, need to be considered from a stakeholder perspective. Our next question is, how do organisations manage performance? So once again, while this is not a management course, understanding a bit about how performance is traditionally managed in organisations will help you in your goal of making sure that analytics assist in decision making. So a key aspect of organisational performance management is it improves responsiveness and alignment. So I'll give you an example about a primary school soccer team. When my daughter was young, she was really into sports. And what we found is that basically, when you've got a whole lot of year 2 and year 3s playing soccer, is that all the players on the field will follow the soccer ball. And what ends up happening, however, is that the gap between where an organisation wants to be and where they are is the crucial bit to focus on with analytics. And in organisations, increasingly what we're finding, particularly with industry disruption and churn, is that culture, ethics and reputation are just as crucial as things like sales and customer experience. So if they're important, what are we doing in the area of analytics with them? So performance indicators and metrics may be things that you've come across or not. Once again, if you use something like an activity tracker, Fitbit, Garmin for instance, you would know about what some of these performance indicators and metrics are, how many steps you're aiming for, how many kilojoules you plan to lose each day. So if I think about my daughter's primary school example, some of their goals are, well, we want to win this game. Maybe we want to win the competition. But there's other goals as well that were important to that primary school soccer team. For instance, fair play and looking after the team members. And as you start to see, we've got individual and team goals. So for me as a parent, we were keen for our child to be involved in school activities, to get out and learn social skills as well as the physical aspects and have some fun. Then there's the team goals. Now, if what we wanted as parents, what our daughter wanted as goals was different to what the school wanted, you can start to see we have a misalignment and maybe we won't be as effective. This school also obviously had a focus on the social and fun aspect, but even beyond that, a pipeline of new players. Not much use if your school team has basically got plenty of people this year, but half the number of people next team. So hopefully this example is giving you a bit of a sense of how performance management, performance indicators and metrics all come together. The other thing I'll just finish off on this particular question is that you always want to be considering external and internal metrics. Internal metrics were really about how an organisation operates internally, and externally it's really about how an organisation will operate in the environment. So for instance, how successful a hospital is in terms of treating patients and dealing with illness, and internally how well it delivers meals and ensures patient safety. We finish off this particular week with the questions around what is the diversity of data types and data sources, and we'll actually have an activity related to this later on as well in the course. So this is something we're keen for you to find out about early on. You'd already in your work, in your life, have dealing with numbers and text. However, we start to delve into things like, sentiment, audio, video, Internet of Things, and even possibly biological. Cambridge University actually has a patent where they're looking to be able to store information on DNA. So this field is growing, and so therefore you need to be aware that there's lots of different types of data and there's lots of different types of sources, and that will add to your value as an analytics professional. So we hope you enjoy this week. See you in week 3.